So the Champions League draw for the group stage has been made, and already after less than a few weeks at Bayern Munich, Harry Kane will be heading back to England to face Manchester United. It's probably the pick of the early draw. Bayern Munich, Man United, a repeat of the 1999 Champions League final, which United won. But obviously Kane is the guy that Man United could have had, but they chose to get Rasmus Højlund instead from Atalanta. Now the group is made up with Bayern, Man United, FC Copenhagen, which is Højlund's first club, and Galatasaray. So Galatasaray, a club that United have got history with in the past. They've suffered some kind of humiliating exits against Galatasaray back in the 90s. So this is a group that's got plenty of headline grabbing attention. It's got Kane at United, it's got Bayern versus United, it's United Galatasaray, potentially Copenhagen calls an upset against United and Bayern. So it's a really good group to get into Group A, really good group to launch the Champions League. The flip side is Newcastle, first time back in the Champions League group stage for over 20 years. They've got an amazing group in terms of headline grabbing or box office, but if they want to progress, it's going to be extremely tough for Eddie Howe's team. They've got PSG, Borussia Dortmund, and they've also got a daunting game against AC Milan. Obviously, Sandro Tonali left AC Milan to go to Newcastle in the summer. Milan got all the history, semi-finalists last season. San Siro, great ground for the Newcastle fans to visit. So if you're a Newcastle fan, you'll be thinking, great, some great trips there, some big clubs to visit. But if you're Eddie Howe, you're thinking it's going to be very, very difficult to get through this group up against people like, PSG. You've got the Mbappe. What a sensational visit that'll be to St James's Park for Mbappe, for the fans to see Kylian Mbappe. But also Newcastle out of the European picture for so long, it's going to be a real learning curve for them. Other side of the draw, you've got Man City, the Champions League winners, obviously the reigning Champions League holders. They've got a group which is pretty much a Europa League standard group, but with no due respect to the teams that are in there. Leipzig, a Champions League veteran, but not a team that we expect to win it. Red Star Belgrade, again, a team that have got a great record at home in European competition. That the Maracanã in Belgrade is a very atmospheric stadium. And then young boys from Bern. So City will coast that group, absolutely breeze through without any concerns whatsoever. So and then you've got Arsenal, you've got PSV, they've got Lens and Sevilla, the Europa League winners from last season, the perennial Europa League winners. So you'd expect Arsenal and Man City to absolutely to cruise to their groups. I'd expect United to go through as well with Bayern Munich. It's going to be tough. There are some quite awkward games in that group, but Newcastle, it's going to be really, really tough to get out of that group. I think the biggest challenge for Newcastle there is to actually get third place and get a place in the Europa League after Christmas, because it's going to be very tough to get through that group. But it's a fantastic draw for the Premier League clubs involved. But United, Bayern Munich for me is the pick of the games in the group stage.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week, subscribe to ESPN+.